Hi, I'm Betsy Nicoletti. Thanks for joining me today for one of our Can I Get Paid presentations. Today, Can I Get Paid for Suture Removal? Let's start with the concept of the global surgical package. So Medicare assigns surgical procedures 0, 10, or 90 global days in their Medicare fee schedule. And if it's 0 global days, the surgeon or other practitioner is responsible for the care that day. We're not going to talk about modifier 25 today. If it's 10 or 90 global days, if it's a procedure with that length of that global period, then the surgeon or practitioner is responsible for the postoperative care for that many days, and it starts the day after the procedure. Simple laceration repair and some other minor procedures have 0 global days. Intermediate and complex repairs have 10 global days. And I call those out because laceration repair is where this question arises. So the patient goes to the ED, has a laceration repaired, and then presents to the primary care for suture removal. Can that be paid? So we look back at the CPT assistant, and in the spring of 1992, they said, removal of sutures by other than the operating surgeon may be coded as a level of E&M service if suture removal is the only post-operative service performed. That is, they're not taking over the care. They're not doing all the post-operative care. They're just taking out the stitches. And in December of 2002, they said there just isn't a separate code for removal of sutures if it's not done under anesthesia. We're going to see a code like that. If the physician who removed the sutures didn't place the sutures, then the suture removal would be considered part of an E&M service. And then it reiterates that removal of sutures by the surgeon who placed them isn't separately reportable. You can't bill that. And they had a discussion about modifier 55 if it's a real transfer of care. So remember that physicians in a group of the same specialty have to bill and be paid as if they were one physician, and that non-physician practitioners, NPs and PAs who are working with a group are considered to be of the same specialty. So if you or your same specialty partner did the procedure for which we're removing the sutures or the staples, then the removal is part of the global period. But if you or your same specialty partner didn't do the laceration repair or didn't do the other procedure for which we placed those, then a practice can bill those as an E&M service that reflects the level of service performed. It's usually not a high level, and there's an add-on code for it. So first, let's look at the code for removal of sutures or staples. We're not removing staples, requiring anesthesia. And here the code itself says general anesthesia or moderate sedation. So typically we wouldn't be doing this in an office. And remember that procedures that require a return trip to the OR can be billed. If it's a staged or related procedure, we're going to put a modifier on it. In 2023, we got these two new add-on codes, 15853, removal of sutures or staples not requiring anesthesia, 15854, removal of sutures and staples not requiring anesthesia. So if you're doing one or the other, you bill 15853. If there are sutures and staples to be removed, you bill 15854, and you don't bill the two together. They have no work RVUs. They're only assigned values for a non-facility in the physician fee schedule, and they have fairly low payment. CPT tells us we can use them, we can add them on to office visits, ED visits, and home and residence services. But remember, they're only valued for non-facility settings, which makes sense. If for some reason you went back to the ED to have some sutures removed and it wasn't the same group that had put them in, you were traveling and you had those sutures placed in Massachusetts, and now you're back in Missouri and having them removed, but you went to the ED for that, the ED physician could bill an ED visit, but could not add those add-on codes because those add-on codes are for the practice expense, not inherent to part of the E&M. And if you're in the ED, the practice or the facility expense is part of the hospital charge, not part of the professional fee. So in 2023, when these were developed, CPT said these account for the practice expense involved in suture or staple removal, not inherent to the E&M service. So there's going to be perhaps some nursing time. There's going to be equipment or supplies related to suture removal. So you can get paid for suture or staple removal if you or your same specialty partner didn't do the procedure that caused those sutures to be placed. We don't bill those codes alone. They have that plus sign in front of them. They're add-on services to an E&M service. And of course, you got to document the E&M service that you performed. Will you need a modifier? CPT tells us that add-on codes do not require modifiers. Of course, you're going to watch your commercial payers and see if they go along with that CPT rule. So thank you very much for watching. This video is one of a series of a Can I Get Paid series where we ask and answer some frequently asked questions. Coding Intel, our website, has in-depth coding guides, quick reference guides, and webinars. I think our members like the webinars the best of all. We do 1 or 2 a month, and they're member-only benefits. So here I'm going to end with a picture of my dog, Bowie, just sitting around, wondering why she's been asked to sit in a red frame in a field. And of course, the answer is because she looks so picturesque. All right, thanks so much for joining me.